Open session meeting of the Ayer Planning Board. Our first order of general business is to approve the agenda for this evening. May I have a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda for April 9th, 2019.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion on the agenda for this evening? Additions or? Hearing none?
I got one comment.
Oh, thank you.
Mark asked me to help him take some written minutes while the meeting is, since we don't have Heather with us
Okay.
tonight. So I'll be trying to take some notes.
Okay,
Just to let
great.
you know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
No further comments? All in favor of approving the agenda as
Aye.
presented?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. Okay. Our next order of business are to approve the minutes from March 22nd and February 1st, 2019. Let's take them up individually, please.
Thank you.
And starting with the March 26th minutes, I'd like to draw your attention to, I believe it's page 2 on the bottom third of the page. That is in bold, discussion Illinois form-based code update. There's a single piece of paper that's sitting at your spot. This is a recommended,
Yep. No.
there's a couple of recommended replacements. Member Diskin's putting these forward. Oh, excuse me, I did a motion. It's not that yet. I forget. I went right to work.
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. Need a
Looks like
motion,
Ken would
please?
like to make one.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of March 26th.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
Yes, you have.
Thank you. I was doing it. Please, Mr.
That's
Diskin.
part of the meeting.
I'm sorry.
You want to take it?
Well, okay, as I was saying, and I'm sorry, Ken, and I appreciate what you've done.
Yeah.
There are two suggestions, as you have in front of you on the subsequent piece of paper. On page 2, amend the first two paragraphs of Mr. Mullins' discussion with the board. First point is in the first paragraph, replace the word handout with handed out. Mr. Allen Monoyan handed out a copy of the revised form-based code would be the change.
Yeah.
And the second paragraph really doesn't do justice what Mr. Monoyan did. And Ken, do you want to give this a read as well?
Right, so I looked over this, and the first thing I noticed was that the percentages that she's got in here, she didn't refer to the correct application of those percentages in the right district that he was talking about.
Okay.
So I'll read this is the suggested replacement that I'd like to make. Mr. Monoyan went over the latest changes that have been made to the proposed form-based code period. The changes were highlighted in green on a copy of the proposed code handed out to the board. Mr. Monoyan reminded the board again that the new form-based code will replace entirely the existing downtown business zoning district. Mr. Monoyan mentioned he had accepted a recommendation from the board to reduce the percentage frontage build-out requirement shown on page 24 for the downtown traditional neighborhood T.5.1 transect from the previous 60% requirement to 40%. Mr. Monoyan recommended to the board and asked for support for two changes in use in the new form-based code district. First, the change to permitted from not permitted in the T.5.1 transect zone for multifamily dwellings. And second, the change to not permitted from SPB, which is special permit by the Board of Selectmen, for auto sales and service and gasoline stations. The board discussed both matters, but no motions were made or votes taken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have two very minor word changes that I
Thank you.
spotted as well.
Is
In
this
the-
separate from?
Separate from
Okay.
that one, yes. In the paragraph above that section,
Yeah.
where Alan Manoy's discussion, town council, in my discussion, should be spelled C-O-U-N-S-E-L, not C-I-L. I know I'm being picky.
We'll take your counsel on that, Mark.
Oh,
Thank you.
wait, I never knew the, I'm gonna be honest.
I will
didn't
counsel
know
the
this.
counselors on how to spell council.
And the municipal is only used.
Wherever it's seen, we change it.
And then on page 3, under associate board members, second paragraph, Vice Chairman Tillotson asked Mark Archambault to work with the town manager's office in order, and I would like to strike to the board, because that's extraneous.
In order to get an associate member, thank you.
Yep, and that's
Okay.
all I have.
Thank you very much. Great. Do we have any further recommendations? further discussion? If not, I would accept a motion to approve the minutes of March 22nd,
We
2019
made the motion, yeah.
with the discussed changes.
I move that we accept the minutes for, sorry,
It's okay.
let's read the date. The minutes for the March 26, 2019 APB with the changes as read into the record by Mr. Diskin and Mr. Archambault.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Any further discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Point of clarification for Learn.
Yes,
So we make a motion, we second it, that's when we're allowed to discuss things.
yes,
But then we discussed it, which we're amending,
yes.
but that's the point of discussion anyway, so
Yes.
why does a whole nother motion need to be made? That doesn't make any logical sense,
Mm.
but it does.
We can't-
Because what's the point of
We have
discussion
to
if you
vote
can?
no on the first.
We have to vote no.
Right, so why
Yeah.
didn't we vote no then?
Before we
Logically,
amended it
We-
with the second motion.
We'll slide the word amended. Yes, it's probably, it's a really good question, and it's kind of,
we didn't
I-
actually conclude the first motion, we discussed the first motion, but then we're supposed to make a whole nother motion, rather than saying approved as amended, initial motion.
Got an opinion, Mac?
I'm not allowed to ask these questions
No,
outside of the
you
meeting,
are,
so I'm
you
gonna
are.
ask them in the meeting.
To be honest with you, it's a practice.
I have the book, should we read it?
Can we do it between meetings and
I
get it
will,
right the next time?
I will make that my homework,
Yeah,
but,
no, I'm more
Okay.
than happy to take that
but
on.
no
I
one's
think for
actually
tonight
giving me
was
a,
fine,
but no one's giving me a concrete answer, cause
Because
it
we
sounds
don't
at
know.
least worthy of a question.
So
It is what it is.
Okay.
my understanding is, and I could totally be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, is that the motion puts the minutes on the table to be discussed.
Yeah,
They go through the sausage making,
yeah,
at which point it's a different type of sausage, so we move to approve the amended sausage.
Otherwise, we would have.
but that's not what we did, we made a new motion, we did,
We made a second motion to approve the changes to the original minutes.
I'm writing approve amended sausage,
Jeez.
or second new amended motion. I will bring
I'm
that to
more
your
than happy, yeah.
interest level
No, that's
next
great.
meeting.
Thanks. Thank you.
Happy to help.
Okay.
I really am sorry.
Moving,
This
no,
confuses me.
please. Moving on to April 1st. Minutes of April 1st.
Yes,
May I have a motion, please?
no joke. Motion to approve the minutes of April 1st, planning board meeting 2019.
Seconded.
A motion and second.
Mr. Chair, I also
Do we have any
two-
discussion, excuse me?
Yeah, there is.
Oh,
Do we
sorry.
have any discussion? Yes, Mr.
Town planner
Archibald.
does.
Very minor, under the review for the site plan, Groton Harvard Road Transfer Station. Second paragraph that begins with Mr. Wetzel, the third sentence starts with "as well has received." I believe it would read better if it said, "the proposed project has received a negative determination from Natural Heritage."
Thank you.
And on the second page, in the motions, the first motion in the series of three motions at 6:35, it should be unanimous vote to accept, not approve, because that was for the acceptance of the
Okay.
plan. I think we need to make that
Managed to
distinction.
accept, thank you. Yep. Okay.
Give me that again, Mark.
Just to change the word approve to accept in the first motion.
Any further discussion?
Are you making, you're making the written changes
I am
to
making
your
some
original.
written, but I missed, Mark, if you don't mind. You're recommended on the first page, you wanted to remove the word as well has received. You would like to insert the word,
The
strike
proposed
as well,
project.
and insert the word, the proposed project.
Yes,
Yes.
the proposed
I had not
project
all the
has
project written.
received.
Has
So
received.
Has
the only
received.
words stricken are "as well," so the proposed project has received.
Mhm. And on the second page, the first bold motion,
Yeah,
the last four words, unanimous vote to accept.
Accept.
Yep.
Thank you very
Correct.
much. We'll strike approve and put accept. Now, we do have to say,
we can go
will
with
we
the.
accept the amendments? Would
See,
your,
that sounds
would your
nice.
motion, as a friendly amendment to your motion, would your motion accept the amended changes?
Of course.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's a weird stick-up. I'm kidding.
No,
Huh?
it's
Okay.
fine.
Any further discussion?
I like that.
Okay.
But
So we have, before us. All in favor of accepting the minutes as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Mark will, going to have to retype these and I'll have to find a way to sign them for us, okay?
Oh, yes.
Fantastic. That brings us to the next order of business, a public hearing for a proposed marijuana establishment zoning bylaw. And this being April 9th, we're going to open the hearing.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I will read the public hearing notice first, as is our practice. This was published twice in a local paper, 2 weeks in a row. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 5, the Ayer Planning Board will hold a public hearing at 6:15 p.m. on Tuesday, April 9th, 2019, at the Ayer Town Hall, 1 Main Street, Ayer, to amend the Ayer zoning bylaw to add a marijuana establishment zoning bylaw as a new section, and to amend the zoning bylaw and zoning map by deleting the downtown business district and inserting a form-based code district. And I believe that will be sufficient. So what I'd like to do now is run through the same presentation I gave at the last meeting, just highlighting the most important features of the bylaw and how.
And Mark,
Yes.
and also, if any, would you just highlight anything that's changed since our last time we convened? Just if you would highlight that as you progress, and if
Yes.
anything's new or different, let us know.
Sure.
Thank you.
It doesn't change the presentation at all because there was nothing of substance. It was more,
Perfect.
town council wanted to make things more concise. So that's what most of the changes were. Nothing changed with the use table.
Thank you.
And I did send the board a track changes version from town
Yes.
council as well as the changes accepted version.
Thank you.
Okay, so why is the town proposing this bylaw? First of all, Massachusetts voters in November of 2016 approved question 4 that was on the ballot to legalize the cultivation and sale of recreational marijuana in Massachusetts. Ayer was one of those towns that voted yes on the question, and how a town voted sort of has downstream effects on how these types of businesses can be regulated. So towns that voted yes can choose to limit the number of retail establishments to no fewer than 20% of the number of alcoholic beverage licenses in the town or one such establishment. This was done at the October 23rd of 2017 special town meeting. So I want to make a very important point here that this bylaw that we're considering tonight, that will be the subject of the town meeting on June 10th, will have no bearing on the operation of Gage Cannabis on 2A at the old Mango Grill site. You know, that was a medical establishment that got the first recreational license because of the way the Cannabis Control Commission set up the process. So if a town does not zone for and regulate these types of establishments, they are considered allowed in the zoning district that most closely resembles the type of use. So if it's cultivation, it might be assumed that they could go in an industrial zone. If it's sales or retail, it might be assumed they could go in any commercial business district. And if we didn't have a bylaw of this type, the planning board's ability to impose additional controls is somewhat limited. So that, you know, by having a bylaw like this, we're able to put in place buffers from schools, additional regulatory requirements to make sure that these establishments are operated consistently with the neighborhood character and the needs of the town. So the process of developing the bylaw, first I did a lot of research on the state laws, the Cannabis Control Commission regulations, and the actual zoning bylaws adopted by towns from across the state. And we had a large working group that met for several months, and I won't read everybody's title, but just about everybody in town who would have a bearing on this sort of thing was involved in that group. So I drafted the first draft of the bylaw was prepared by March 1st, and that was submitted to town council for legal review. And we had a public information session informally in this room on March 20th in order to get the idea out there that this would be coming forward. It wasn't the official public hearing, that's what we're holding tonight. So after the 20th, we received comments from town council, which are relatively minor changes to make the bylaw more concise and to, group some of the categories of businesses that we listed as non-retail, and I'll point those out in the table when we get to that. And all the changes that you see before you in the bylaw now were filed immediately with the town clerk and with the planning office, so they're up there. So the public hearing is officially today, Tuesday, April 9th. I would recommend that the board continue the hearing to April 23rd. It would be the same hearing, just continue, just in case something pops up in between now and the 23rd that might require an additional minor change to the bylaw. That way we would be legally covered by closing the hearing on April 23rd.
I wish to ask the acting chair, is there anything complicated or anything we need to know about this, or that's perfectly copacetic? It's okay. Thank you.
In practice, what we'll do is when the discussion is finished this evening, we'll vote to continue the hearing.
Thank you.
And we'll get a motion.
Oh.
Okay.
And so this is all leading up, leading up to a special town meeting on June 10th. I believe the regular annual town meeting is on Monday, May 13th, and that will be most of the regular warrant articles about the budget and the schools and everything else that typically happens in a town meeting. We decided that the zoning should be separated from all that business because, this will take probably a lot of discussion, presentations, and if this was tacked on at the end of the regular town meeting, it could go a long time. So I looked at several models in crafting the bylaw. The Pioneer Valley Planning Commission out in the western part of the state.
I'm sorry, Mark, can I ask a question?
Yes.
The special town meeting that we'll have for this,
Yes.
clearly the board that was involved in creating this will be there. Is it, ideally, I would be there as a member of the town, but
Right.
is the planning board expected to be present?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yep. And I believe most of the members of the working group would also be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just clicking down on the towns that I actually looked at for models. Littleton, I thought had a really good bylaw. Hudson, Leicester, Lowell, Fitchburg, Athol, and New Bedford. And we discussed that map earlier. So what the bylaw does and does not do, the bylaw does not allow more than one retail establishment at the present time. If we wanted to change that in the future, it would require a whole new public hearing by the planning board and a town meeting vote, since that has been codified both at the October 2017 town meeting to limit it to one for retail, and it's also reiterated in the present bylaw. Looks like you have to click it a few times. So the bylaw is concerned with regulating a whole host of operations: cultivation, retail, product manufacturing, testing, research, and transportation. There's a whole bunch of activities that can be.
And that's product testing, not taking
Right.
the product to see what it does.
No, yeah, that's
Okay, thank you.
laboratory testing,
Thank you.
not
Okay.
personal testing. So these enterprises are confined to the general business, industrial, and light industrial zoning districts, which I will show on a map that will be coming up shortly. And also to make sure that we get serious applications, because we didn't want to have frivolous applications, just somebody who said, hey, this is a way for me to get rich quick. I'll apply to the planning board for one of these businesses. We wanted to make sure that people who apply to the town are serious and they have the wherewithal, both financially, legally, and operationally to operate one of these. So by requiring a provisional license from the Cannabis Control Commission, which is about halfway through their process, is one of the criteria for a complete application, we will ensure that somebody has met their criteria.
See, I was actually thinking about that after the meeting, and I struggled with it for a moment. Then I realized we have one license for manufacturing, one license for this, whatever.
Right.
Somebody could apply for it with no intention of ever using it, and they would hold that license.
Potentially.
Wait a minute.
Though the first step actually is, I should have.
If we didn't have the
Step
provision,
forward to the-
exactly.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Jeff,
The
I'm
first
sorry,
step,
I-
the first step in this process is to do what's, to do a public information session with the person who wants to hold the business. Then they need to meet with the selectmen to enter into a host community agreement that will specify the amount of, taxes
Activity.
or any offsite improvements and that sort of thing.
I want to clarify something. Jeff said something about this, just one license available for the, no, there's one license for retail.
Retail.
But there's there could be multiple licenses for any of these other things, right?
Correct.
Cultivation.
I'm sorry, in
I
a
just wanted to be clear.
situation where there was one license,
Sorry, okay.
you could stop the process by
Oh,
applying for the
got it.
license, have it granted to you, that's it, it's done.
Got it.
Besides retail, we
Yeah,
have
exactly.
Right, it's open.
open amounts of
Right.
licenses,
Yes.
assuming they
yes.
meet all the requirements in the
Correct.
process. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Yep.
I didn't mean to misspeak, but you're right, Jonathan, yeah.
Okay, and some of the major issues that were considered is, we looked at the various, what's known as a buffer, not to be confused with the wetland buffer zone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Essentially, what this deals with is a separation from schools, preschools, and residential zoning districts to the marijuana establishments, even if they're cultivation or manufacturing, no matter what it is, if it's a new establishment. And I went on Mr. Mapper, and I have an illustration here. This is Nemco Way in the
Mhm.
industrial district. So this side of the road is zoned industrial.
Mm-hmm.
This side of the road is zoned residential. So say somebody somebody was just thinking, where can I do this? And they said, hey, there's a bay in this building right here that I'd like to consider. Well, they're out of luck there because that's 165.1 feet from the center line of the road, which is zoning district boundary. So they would not be allowed to operate a marijuana type business that close to the road. And that's, for logical reasons. But if they looked at this building back here, now this is completely hypothetical. These businesses, these buildings have other things going on, but it's a good illustration. This one is further enough back, 345 feet just about, that, this does meet the setback, so, or the buffer.
It's got more parking too.
Right. But, that's just an illustration of how the buffer could work. And certainly we will be, early on in the process, if some company wants to operate one of these, we would have to, one of the first things we'll do is measure the distance. So all marijuana establishments except for medical dispensaries require a special permit from the planning board. And if we did get another medical one that wanted to open, which is very unlikely because the money is in the recreational sales.
Yeah.
They would require site plan approval. So all of these will require site plan approval at the very least. And if it's any other thing except medical, it also requires a special permit, as we do in the conjoined process. And by requiring a special permit, the planning board has the ability to deny applications that do not meet the criteria. Whereas with site plan approval, it's considered just sort of an enhanced as of right type of use. If they meet the criteria, you go down the checklist, they have the parking, the landscaping and all this. They might need a few waivers or whatever, but if they meet those criteria, the planning board legally, needs to grant a site plan approval, whereas with special permit, we have more discretion. So that's,
Ken?
and we also have specific special permit criteria in addition to what we have for any other type of business that apply to these types of establishments.
I just had a thought. Should we have offered copies of this to the attendees in the room?
Yes, they're on the table.
There have been
Yeah.
Everyone
Anybody?
had-
Do you have one too?
Yep, they're on the table, and there's also a one-page handout that I
That's been
prepared.
done.
And this has been posted for a while,
Yes, yes.
yeah, so.
Yep, so the
Thanks,
bylaw
Ken. Sorry.
itself and a summary of the bylaw are on the table right there. I think there's one more. Oh, and also a very important point, commercial outdoor cultivation is prohibited. Now, according to the law, private citizens of Massachusetts can grow a limited number of plants themselves for personal use. The rule is it cannot be seen from a public way or from a neighbor's yard. So if there's some way for them to grow a few plants.
That's like Hampshire County.
I know, right, but yeah, actually, there could be commercial cultivation out in the western part of the state where we have these huge agricultural fields. So we might choose to do that, but Ayer is more of an industrial, commercial type of town, and, you know, that's not applicable. So how would Ayer benefit from having this bylaw? First of all, in a regulatory fashion, by giving the town, through its planning board, much greater degree of control over these types of businesses. And as I just mentioned, the special permit gives us more discretion. We will also, of course, notify the abutters. And economically, through increased and more efficient use of land in our industrial and general business districts, there's a fair amount of vacant land, about 65 acres in the industrial zones and 34 acres in the general business zones, not all of which is buildable. But just looking at the report that I obtained from the assessing department, it looks like that's the amount of vacant land that we have. And there's also underutilized buildings that, you know, could be subdivided internally to allow for this sort of thing, and we've seen that happen in other towns. Part of the economic development aspect of this is you increase Ayer's commercial and industrial tax base, which generates additional tax revenue, especially for businesses, for buildings and land that would have been hard to find somebody to use otherwise. Also generating new jobs. Many are relatively high paying in the growing and labor intensive cannabis industry. One thing that struck me in my only time that I was in one of these facilities in Littleton was how labor intensive it was.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people they hired, but it was a lot. And and some of them, you know, the botanists and, you know, the specialists and the chemists and the people that do all that, you know, they're making well over minimum wage, I'm sure, you know, and so the jobs are there, and also there are potential benefits to the town from the community host agreement. These have to be proportional to the amount of impact, say, on, you know, the police department, you know, fire safety. There might be some additional fire safety inspections that need to occur. And so, you know, part of the host community agreement would be the cannabis company would have to calculate roughly how much additional time or how much inspection time it might take the town to do the annual inspections and all that sort of thing, and the Board of Health. So there's a way for the town to recoup that in the host agreements.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just listing the various types of enterprises here that are covered by the state law. There's a retailer, again limited to one. Cultivation is probably going to be the type of business we see the most of.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be the case in the other towns. Product manufacturing, this would be the and refined products that, you know, they make and sell at the retail outlets. Now, some of these could be, combined. At the Littleton facility, I believe they've combined some elements of cultivation with product manufacturing, and but some of them might be separate. There's also the ability to do a testing laboratory because the state has very strict guidelines on both pesticides and contaminants, as well as the amount of THC and other compounds that are allowed in the product. Research facilities that support the entire type of industry. Craft cooperative is something, again, you probably see more in the western part of the state. It's where, you know, small number of people could get together in a co-op type of business to do small-scale cultivation. That wouldn't apply here so much, but I'm listing it because it's one of the enterprises. Licensed transporters. One thing that's very interesting is everything has to be tracked. They call it the seed to sale tracking system. Mm-hmm. You know, every bud has to be accounted for. You know, they don't want anything to go missing. And so even when you're transporting it from the growing facilities to the retailers, you know, it has to be controlled. It has to be in a certain type of vehicle, and you know, it's, you know, everything in this type of enterprises is strictly controlled. And also there's something called the micro business, which is small scale cultivation and product manufacturing, but not retail. Mm-hmm. And I believe the state put that in there because you may have read in the Boston Globe recently, there's been controversy about these big companies national companies that are sort of buying up some of the smaller ones and, you know, exceeding the number of licenses that they, you know, are supposed to be able to operate in any one state, which I believe is like 3. So the Cannabis Control Commission is, you know, going to be taking a closer look at that. But by allowing for the micro business, that's a way for the smaller types of business owners to get into the scene.
Are you all aware that the VW microbus is coming back now?
Okay, and
Licensed
here's
transporters.
here's the tale of the table of the proposed uses. It's modeled on the bylaw in general. So in the row up at the top, we have the zoning districts. A1, A2, and GR are residential. A1 being the rural residential zone, A2 being a little more suburban, and GR being the more dense multifamily housing that you see surrounding the center of town. As you will notice, you cannot operate any marijuana establishments in any of the residential districts, as well as downtown business. It was strongly expressed at the October 2017 town meeting that we did not want any of these establishments in the downtown itself. So DB, which will become the form-based code district, which Alan was talking about.
Maybe.
Right,
That's right, maybe.
if it passes. That, you know, is also a prohibition. Mixed-use transitional is essentially Central Avenue, that experiment in mixing.
Such a nice way of putting it.
I know, the Mutt District. So GB is general business, or what in some towns is called highway business, auto-oriented development or business types. And that is where you might see some of these. The one retailer that we do have, Gage Cannabis, is in a general business zone. The asterisk here means that you have to look at this section to see that it's limited to 1, but if for some reason they went out of business or they were closed by the Cannabis Control Commission for some reason or something happened, you know, we're still obligated to allow for 1 retailer under the state law. So where would they go? They would be able to operate in either the GB or the light industrial district. Non-retail includes all of the other types of establishments that I talked about on the previous slide. The cultivation, the product manufacturing, transportation, laboratory testing, micro business, you know, those are the non-retail. And those would be allowed in GB, light industrial, and industrial. So, yes.
So the current establishment that we have, the medical marijuana establishment.
Right.
That's defined as a medical marijuana treatment center under this code?
That would, yes. But they're grandfathered, so to
I know,
speak.
but I'm
Yeah.
just trying to.
But yes, they would be the medical marijuana treatment.
They would
center.
not be acceptable in that district in the future, should this be adopted as a bylaw.
Right. If they did not exist
That's right.
now, and they were coming in as a new business after the passage of this bylaw, they would not be able to locate there because of because of the district, and B, because of the setbacks of the residential
Yeah.
district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're limiting everything to, you know, the general business, light industrial and industrial. So there are special permit criteria that we, you know, are in the bylaw itself that can address various types of issues, minimizing the impacts of traffic and noise, minimizing the impacts of odors generated from the facility, and one thing I will be keeping on top of is the latest technology that will help to do this. In talking with other planners on the Mass Planners listserv, you know, there's been some complaints in other towns about some people can smell probably better than others, and there's, you know, you're not supposed to be able to smell anything from the
The
outside.
facilities can smell better than other people. Well, that would be.
You're not supposed to smell anything,
I
so,
was letting it go.
so,
I was
but,
thinking,
you know,
we after the skunks in town, you know?
So actually, I do have kidding aside,
yes,
as far as the technology and being on top of what the most current is
Right.
as far as keeping the odors down, how does that pertain to your role as a planner? Is that what we would be talking about in our special permits and that kind of thing, where we'd be saying we're requiring or
Yes.
requesting that you use such a
Right.
thing? Is that where
Yes.
that comes into
Yes.
our purview? Okay.
yes, yep.
And
Thank
I acted a charcoal filter system to
Okay.
actually
relatively common.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're all around us here in town.
Thanks.
Oh, and also, one thing too that was pointed out in town council review is that the security plans, there's actually a separate security plan for these establishments. That is to be kept confidential, so to speak, and only the police department
Yeah.
is going to get the security plan.
Fabulous.
That's so that.
They all have the same combination though for the alarm system.
Yeah, whatever, but, you know, there's obvious reasons for that, and so the police department will let the planning board know whether the security plan passes muster with them or not, and if changes need to be made, so that is codified right now in the new bylaw, that security measures are reviewed by the police department.
Thank you.
And they may also, discuss things with the fire department because they're interrelated, the safety. We can also impose conditions related to the design and construction to address all of these things. We can discuss energy efficiency and energy conservation, water conservation, regulate the hours of operation, and periodically, and what I've seen some towns have done in their bylaws is they have an annual sort of compliance review where, 1 year or more after the site plan or special permit has been granted, they come back and we just informally discuss what problems they may have had, or if things are going great, or if they have to change something. So that's what we can do. So this is a zoning map of the town, and I just wanted to point out where the general business and industrial zoning districts are. Up here you have a light industrial zoning district in orange, which centered on the railroad track going into Shirley. General business is in pink, and so you have that along Park Street up to where it meets the light industrial. There's a small area of general business on West Main Street here. And also around the Rotary. That's where Gage Cannabis is proposing to locate, is right about there. You have more light industrial here, which is mostly railroad related, so I doubt we will see any type of establishments there, because there's really no way to access it. And here, this large purple area is the general industrial, or what used to be called heavy industrial. And I believe most of the operations we will likely see will be in either this area or up in this area. And probably most of which will be not visible from any road. It's, to see anything in this industrial area, you have to drive right into it. It's, if you're driving on this road, you're not going to see much. And this map here, yes, want to go back?
So we ran into this on Westford Road. We had an application for a tiny approval. Can you go back to the previous one? A big portion of that.
Yes, I have to do it on this.
A big portion of that is above the aquifer protection noted by the crosshatches,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yes, yes.
So, because these operations do tend to use a lot of water, that's something we're gonna have to be looking at closely if that comes
Yes.
before us.
Right,
Okay,
yep.
so I guess,
It's also my understanding that a lot of the
Very
water they
good point.
use in the hydroponics becomes recycled.
Exactly.
They
They
do.
recycle a
And
lot
the
of
place, the
water.
Littleton facility, went to- I think Mark, they said they were recycling, I think they said 100% or
Yeah.
almost
Yeah,
all the
they
water.
told us they
It's amazing.
recycle all
Yeah,
their
just
water.
recycling all of
I'm
it.
sure over time you have to freshen it.
I mean, I'm sure you can't demineralize it, you won't get the benefit from it, but they're
Right.
doing something in the process
Right,
of
yes,
hydroponics. And that's gotta make sense from just a business standpoint.
Exactly.
Paying for
Right.
water is a true cost.
yes, yeah, it's in the interest of these companies to
No.
reduce their energy costs and water costs as much as possible.
Now, the side of, if there was a spill or a problem with the system, that may indeed have an impact on the aquifer. And we have other businesses in the aquifer, they have found ways with separators and stuff like that to come up with that solution. But that's not for us to,
okay.
Right.
that engineering is not our engineering
Yeah.
question, I think.
Okay, and the next slide here shows essentially the buffer zones from any of the districts in which these would be allowed. So what I just mentioned about the light industrial here, general business. What you see in the darker green is the 200-foot buffer from any residential district. The residential districts are in the yellow, and also, any school or preschool is in purple. This is where the Ayer Shirley Regional High School is, as well as the elementary school. We show a buffer around that, but, you know, you couldn't do that there anyway because it's all residentially zoned,
Right.
so, you know.
Should we take that out?
No, I think it's important to show
I think
that.
it's a good feel good.
Uh-huh.
And one of the questions I have is, so, you know, we often, when we talk about solar, we talk about churches and we talk about daycare. So if there's an establishment and a daycare wants to be established,
Yeah, for that
Who
reason,
wins?
daycare itself, the police actually advocated for not including
Yeah.
daycare because
Okay.
it's a separate,
Great,
you know,
thanks.
somebody could have that in their house and they
And
can come and
day,
go.
daycare pops up and disappears, exactly.
Right,
not a
exactly,
school.
whereas
Thank you.
the preschools, like there's
Yeah.
one here called the Kitty Depot, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
That one's an established actual preschool licensed by the state, and so that has a 200-foot buffer around it, which might impact the ability to site something in the Grove Pond industrial area right here a little bit. But, you know, most of the, you know, it's a pretty deep industrial zone. Also right here is Peroni Park, so in addition to the schools and the residential districts, we have the 200-foot buffer from official town parks. And so we have Peroni Park here, and so you see the light purple is a 200-foot buffer, so that also intrudes into this industrial area.
And we've got the same.
And then we have the Sandy Pond Beach, which again is surrounded by residential zoning. So just like the school up here, it doesn't really have any practical effect, but I think it's good to show on the map that,
Yeah.
you know, that's part of the buffer that we're considering. And that's about it. If you want to go back to the
Thanks,
previous
Mark.
slide, we could do that, but,
Thank you.
Thank you.
yep, so,
You feel like you're doing this over and over?
I have. I think this is the third time. Well, that's good, so by the time I get to the June 10th
That was
town
good.
meeting.
But are you hungry when it's
Awesome.
over?
I'll be able to do it,
Right.
I'll be able to do it without looking at
Something.
something. But,
Thank you, Mark. Do we have any discussion from the board? I know we've been doing it kind of informally while Mark was making his presentation.
No?
And this
I
can-
think,
go ahead, yeah.
just a comment, I think that for town meeting, I think just be prepared to explain the distinction between site plan review and special permitting. You know,
Oh, in
that
more
may come up
detail.
to be yes,
That
that,
might even be
for
a
us,
slide-
it could be
a
like
worthy-
that.
That might even be a worthy slide to have somewhere.
You
That's
know,
You know,
Good point, yep.
if you don't mind.
Because-
Thanks,
Yes.
Jonathan. Any other comments from the board at this point?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reference that, this set of, the revisions on this, are they only the ones that are shown in the bold, which is that one paragraph?
Those are the ones that I added in order to clarify some of the questions that town council had, were the points. You will
That
see,
paragraph
yeah,
is fully
right,
spelled out.
yes. You will see all the changes, if you compare the track changes version that I sent out
Okay.
like 10 days ago to that version, you'll just see in the red lines what changed.
Ken, what can you
But
point out?
nothing of substance changed, it was all,
It looks like,
Which page you looking at?
well,
Seven.
page 7, excuse me,
Yep.
Article
section 12 or whatever.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yep, got it.
And there's just a couple of others here and there.
Yeah.
But all of this is done, as far as you're concerned, right now with the town
Yes.
council, and it's
Yes,
clean
town-
and
right.
ready to go.
Oh, there were something in Word, another formatting problem, and this is something I will change. It's extremely minor, it's just numbering. In section 8.65, you're gonna see on page 5, A, B, C,
Yeah.
and then C has 1, and then it goes through a bunch of numbers. There are two
Yeah.
2s.
I see.
And I tried to fix that, and it wouldn't fix it without messing everything up. So I'm just gonna fix the numbering.
Yeah.
We can't pass the bylaw.
I know. I tried that in Word, it just wouldn't let me without,
Yeah.
I'll have to consult with Cindy, our expert.
Yeah.
She'll set me straight on that, but,
Okay. Do we have any comments or questions from the audience with regards to the marijuana establishment zoning bylaw? If not, thank you. I would accept a motion at this point to continue this hearing until the April 23rd meeting of the Ayer Planning Board.
Well, yeah, that's for the marijuana one, because there's two separate hearings.
Oh, I understand.
Form-based code is coming up
Yeah.
next.
We don't have to
Were you
continue
not paying
Alan
attention
until
now?
we're not
Yes,
sure.
Got it,
So,
okay.
yes, we're gonna do them one at a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's worth it.
Oh,
I would accept the motion, please. for
I'd like to
continuing
make
the
a
hearing.
motion to continue the meeting on the public hearing regarding the proposed marijuana bylaw.
If I'd like to insert the word hearing instead of meeting, please.
Here, yes, I'd like to continue, make a motion to continue this hearing regarding the marijuana bylaw until our next Ayer Planning Board meeting.
Thank you.
April
Do we
20th.
have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Which brings us to our next item of business, a public hearing for the proposed form-based code to replace the downtown business zoning district. I'll accept the motion to open the hearing.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Mr. Minoyan, I think the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Once again, I'm gonna sit over there. Yes, a bell has been brought for you.
Please.
I brought a bell.
Doesn't like the touch lately anymore,
Oh,
it seems.
yeah.
Something happened with the
They
touch.
fixed
I
it.
even rang a doorbell.
We finally got used to it. They fixed it.
Oh,
Right, Alan?
I like that touch.
Cub Scouts
I
are
thought
up.
I'm Joe Biden.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
I'm
that's a
not
whole
going
nother.
there.
Oh.
I'm not going there.
Strike that from the record.
No. It's
So,
worth noting,
well,
we
this-
appreciate that he's not a touchy man.
While Mr.
Says the woman on the board.
While Mr. Minoyan is setting
Yes.
up this presentation and the Mondo board's doing what it can for us,
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to call Member Krantz after the last meeting and say, I never thought in my lifetime I would be sitting in a planning board meeting where the topics of discussion would be marijuana and mushrooms.
It's true.
It's amazing.
More people will join, I think, right?
Let's
Start out.
We'll get,
Oh, ups. Oh, you got it? Yeah, it doesn't
I
let
can
you
drive
touch
for
it.
you if you'd like.
Okay. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, again for the record, Director of Community and Economic Development, Alan Minoyan. And I know you folks have, on a number of occasions, gone through this and all. I know we're here for the public hearing,
Yes.
so again, I'll try to keep it moving along.
yeah.
Thank you.
And I do have, again, additional copies of the code here, although you might have, but they
I believe
aren't
this is
here.
one that we have already.
Anyone need one?
Yes.
Thank
you.
What if- I'll just put a few out here. It's much longer than the last one, so it's. Oh, it is, okay. Okay, so just to, quickly, the form-based code, has been submitted to our legal counsel. It's a little bit more detailed and complex than the marijuana, than a use change, so they've still going, working through that, and I'm waiting to hear back from them, and we will continue. But the public hearing tonight, they actually, the legal counsel requested that we break it up into two public hearings, one being just the body of the code itself, which we have here, and then they'd like to do a second public hearing that just addresses the dimensional table and the use table, because we are amending the dimensional use table, because we're literally, removing a district and replacing it with another. So this tonight is the public hearing, just sort of for the body of the code.
And are you asking, so will the body of the code,
Right.
will you
Yes.
follow that right away this evening with the dimensional discussion?
No.
No, that will be at the next scheduled public hearing, which I believe is the 23rd.
Okay.
That's what we're shooting
Just-
for
yeah.
anyway.
Thank
Yes.
But
Yes.
is that a continuation of this public hearing like the marijuana
No.
one just was,
No,
or is
it's
that
a
two
separate
separate public
hearing.
hearings?
Oh, they're separate public hearings.
So I would actually suggest, if I may, on the fly here, handle everything but the dimensional table,
Yes.
and then we'll continue this piece, and then open the dimensional table one, and we will actually go to the 23rd with 3 open hearings.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a safe way
Just to
to
stay
do it,
organized,
yes.
because I actually don't see this as being broken apart. I think it's important to discuss both along the way, but let's do that.
Okay.
If it's okay?
Excellent,
Mhm.
yes, by all means.
Yeah, no, I just, thanks. Lawyers ask for things that can't be done.
God bless them.
Discussion, is there anybody else?
Just to start
Oh,
off,
no, I know about that.
with folks, just the overall, the overall concept starts with what is called the rural to urban transect. By the way, deeply ingrained in our traditional New England town and village development pattern, meaning at our town centers, whether it's a small village, New England village, or a larger city, you have your greatest, intense development at your core, where it should be. And then as you go outward into the rings of your town or city, the development pattern becomes less intense. Form-based code really reinforces that. Conventional use-based zoning does not. Why do we want to grow in this traditional New England form and pattern? Because if we just grow in a sprawling pattern, the taxpayers of Ayer will go broke. You cannot sustain that development pattern. Maintaining the roads, police, fire. You need to concentrate your development gracefully and well at your town center, which we love in our New England towns and cities, so you can preserve our rural open lands, meadows, fields, the suburban neighborhood character, and there is a pattern and form to this. That is right. This is what the form-based code does. It reinforces our traditional New England heritage and development pattern. This is just another take on it. You see there the town center, and as we've said and learned through this process, what is a T6 we'd start with? Say in a Worcester is much larger, higher building intensity. We would certainly not have 10-story buildings in Ayer, or even 6-story buildings, or even 5-story buildings. We don't do it. Our T6 in Ayer, we're talking a maximum of 4 stories. Okay, so, and you see here just by showing a land depiction of this, the most intense in your town center, a little less intense in your surrounding neighborhoods, a little less intense as you get further out, and then you're out to your meadows and open lands. And by the way, what happens next out here? Well, you reach the border of the next New England town, right? Which is less intense.
And it reverses.
And as you get, thank you, and as
We
you get
believe it
closer,
reverses.
it should. And we know, this is what we know as New England is our traditional form. We invented this. It's our gift to the world, by the way. And everyone, the whole world knows it's right. It's, by the way, now called smart growth and sustainable growth. We did it in New England for 300 years, up until World War II, when we started to design things like Park Street in Ayer, which is not consistent with our New England traditions.
Yankee ingenuity.
That's right.
That's the automobile.
Codified.
Here's our zoning map, as Mark showed. What we're talking about is this little area right in there, which is our downtown zone. So that's nothing else is touched with this. Okay, and all the other slides I did are gone now. They're not here. They didn't come through.
Thank you.
My system is doing very strange things lately,
Thank you.
and it's gone. They're all gone that I did.
No.
That's great. I had these great shots of Park Street.
Go back and look at your files, see
No,
what's
it's
there.
not there. My system's been doing weird things. But I have a couple that are left here, fragments of what I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
The point is, when you look at our Park Street corridor today, this is a purely auto-centric corridor. It only functions for the automobile. We all know this. If anyone has the pleasure of strolling up and down Park Street, we know it's not a pleasure. For 30 years in our master plans, we have said for 30 years, we love our downtown Main Street. Why do we love our downtown Main Street?
This is not like Park Street.
It has sidewalks, beautiful, yes, designed for, it has on-street parking, which makes the whole development pattern work. The on-street parking is everything. The buildings that are built closer up to the sidewalk,
It has underground utilities.
and it has, which I know is something that's very
My pet peeve.
The buildings are built up to the sidewalk so that you relate to them as a human being as you're walking up that street. It's very hard, as if I'm here on this sidewalk, to relate to this. You don't relate to it. As a matter of fact, if you walk out there in Park Street, you actually feel out of place
Right.
in your human body. You feel, I'm not supposed to be here.
That's right.
I need to get in my car.
The electrical wires? You're talking about the electrical wires that are in the picture?
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Oh, thank you.
down the road.
And
So-
and the water wires.
Park Street is a very harsh, intense
So,
corridor.
the marijuana.
Park Street is a low-value corridor. You have one-story buildings. We did an analysis here on Main Street. If you look at just 3/4 of an acre of land, that includes the bank building next to us, Osawa Restaurant, the carpet building, where Union Coffee Roast is, just those 4 buildings, and it's not even an acre of land, it provides over $4 million in value. Taxable value, which pays for our teachers, our police department, our fire department, and for running this entity that's called the Town of Ayer. That, not even an acre in the downtown, delivers $4 million of value. An acre of land on Park Street barely delivers not even $1 million in value. Why? Because most of the land on Park Street, 3/4 of it is what? Asphalt surface parking lots. I can't run business out of a parking lot. I can't live in a parking lot. The parking lot is empty 3/4 of the entire day, doing nothing for our community.
And there's no personal assets.
It's a waste of land, it's inefficient, it doesn't pay a bill, and on top of it, my job is to attract high-quality businesses and enterprise to this town. It's very difficult to attract it because people go, but they go right around the corner of Santander on Main Street. Oh, this is wonderful. I'd love to open a business here. I'd love to walk and spend time. I love coming down here at night. And it's built form, it's not used. This is what we're doing with this code. Would this be, well, this delivers the, we're talking about the 30s that Park Street would be. What is the difference between that and that? It's the same uses. There are restaurants, there are a little bit, it's the building form. I want someone to stand and say, we really prefer that to that. Or to that. Or to that. I'm already hearing rumblings, people say, well, we've heard about this code, Alan. You're trying to make it look like Boston or something. Are you gonna No. We want Park Street to be like Ayer, our traditional town. This is not traditional. This does not. And by the way, we are talking about introducing on-street parking and a sidewalk here. A lot of folks talk to us, looks at that, that's impossible. There's not enough room there to do that.
Sure.
What folks have to understand is you are not seeing the whole roadway profile here. The right-of-way of this road goes up to the front plane of these buildings, way inside those traffic poles. You actually do have enough road width to introduce a sidewalk, on-street parking on one side of the street, and then your lanes, and these lanes are a little better than 12 feet wide. You should tighten that up to 11 feet each. And what will this do?
Calm.
It will calm the traffic on Park Street. If any of you had the joy and pleasure of walking down Park Street, I haven't had a tractor trailer tearing past your body so that you literally feel the air pressure from the truck pushing your body.
Yep.
So, ask a question.
You need to tighten it up, calm this street, and humanize it and resensitize it.
Yeah. So, complete street communities want to make the interconnected neighborhoods safe for all forms of transportation, all forms of movement.
Yes.
From walking, strollers, wheelchairs, handicap assist devices, bicycles, tricycles, all that stuff. Will there remain room for that type of infrastructure to be built into this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In this case on Park Street with the road profile, I think in particular we're probably talking about a bike lane. Just like on Main Street.
A multi-use lane.
Or multi-use,
Yeah.
just
I
like
mean,
on
we've got
Main-
one inside, so I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's it.
I was-
You're
I-
going right where I was going.
Yeah, we
with
have
this.
one inside, which is a
And
great
this is the
benefit to
blessing
us.
of Park Street's a
Yeah.
one-off. We have the beautiful rail trail which will accommodate,
I hear you.
and you'll be pleased to know, Mr. Chairman, what I've done with my landscape architect, because right now, and by the way, construction is going to begin on the new parking deck in the next few weeks. When that parking deck is built, the original designs had no connectivity between that parking deck that's going to be up here and Park Street, this new sidewalk. We've designed, we have wonderful connective passageways from that to connect out through these to Park Street so that people will be able to access their bikes, walk out, and it's all connected together.
I can walk over and get a coffee if I want to.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
But the reason I bring that up, I'm sorry, Alan, is because
I'm just trying, I know, I want to.
no, and I got we're going this, but you know, the Globe recently and other publications are beginning to stress that infrastructure for non-automobile transportation is not beneficial to communities. And I think it should be clear that there's no perceived need on Park Street outside of the sidewalk for a multi-use lane.
Because we have the benefit.
We're not gonna
of
add
rail.
something to it,
That's correct,
exactly.
that's correct,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's all, just wanna make sure
Yep.
that, you know,
No, that's
we-
correct. The other,
we can coexist and not be in the same space.
yes, quite right, that's it. So again, guys, what we hope now, what the form-based code is, it's prescriptive. Prescriptive in the form that will be delivered. So if you're gonna do new development on Park Street, there's a form laid out saying, yes, your building will be built up, to the side. Actually, we have some flexibility with a minimum and maximum there, 10 feet. We want to see, one of the most important things is, the town of Ayer cannot afford to have one-story buildings in our downtown district. You need to have at least two-story buildings in this downtown. This is where you want to, again, maximize your development intensity. So we have a minimum two-story requirement, and again, a maximum of 3 stories on Park Street. That's what our current is in the downtown, so we're not going to, but we're saying you need to do that. Why do you want to see second stories on buildings on Park Street? So there can be residential office on the upper levels. Why do you want that? We have incredible housing need in this town, affordable housing. Are we gonna keep building new housing stuff out in our suburban neighborhoods? No,
Yes.
we should be doing, we should be doing it here near our commuter rail station. And this is where, if you live downtown, you don't need a car for everything you do in your life. It's a lifestyle, so we need to see that type of density. Yes,
So
Mr. Chairman.
I'm thinking about this and, one of the things that impressed me about the town of Ayer since I got here was the discussion about real estate taxes versus our business tax base. And I'm not sure everybody recognizes or understands how residential real estate taxes are done versus
With the split
businesses
tax rate?
with a split tax. But I don't think people understand what, my understanding, it could be wrong, is a business is taxed upon its, I think of the name, what do we call it? Personal use, no, it's the fixtures that they're taxed upon.
Personal properties.
Personal property tax, exactly, which is a misnomer because personal property is my home and my land.
Depends on how you define it.
Exactly. So when we end up in a situation where we have a multi-use building, where we've got a business on the first floor and a residence on the upper floors, we actually have a building that's contributing in 2 different fashions to the tax base.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
But I've been around taxes for a long time. The question is that something that's necessary in a public hearing when you get to this? A description of that. Not
Yes.
everyone recognizes personal property
Thank
tax
you. No,
as
you're right, we should go
different from real
deeper
estate
into
tax.
that, right, to really.
Along Jonathan's lines about talking about the difference between an A&R and
Yes.
a,
And the other reason which contributes to the economy, when you have 2-story buildings with residential buildings downtown, you then create what's called an 18-hour economy. We want, downtown here hops at night, if
it
you've noticed.
flies on Thursday night.
Can't
Check
find
it out.
parking.
Can't find a parking spot downtown
Yeah.
at night on
Most
Main
nights.
Street. During the day, though,
Huh.
I could
Park all day.
roll a bowling ball, or I can down the side of Main Street most time, and there is no one on our sidewalks all day, we have no retail. You get the residential going, you get, now, I live here, so you're gonna be out on the sidewalk, and this is what really juices the economy, and by the way, creates a great social dynamic, a lot of people, and it's gonna build a neighborhood downtown. Build a neighborhood downtown, they start taking care of it, because it's their neighborhood.
Right.
All this is what the form-based code is trying to deliver, predictably deliver. So here is again the tight little area we're talking about. This is the current downtown or DB district. And we're saying, it's currently use-based. And I would say to anyone that says, well, why don't we just leave it the way it is and just try harder to make Park Street transform into a traditional New England downtown street? This is too easy for me because all I have to say is we've had this zoning, this approach for over 30 years. We've had boom economies, we've had recessions, we've had booms again, we've had real estate. Has it done anything to Park Street? Has it delivered anything? No, and it will not.
Mhm.
We must make it happen, the form-based code will make it happen. So we are removing that and putting in, and again, that's just a shot again of the area itself.
Mhm.
And you see this, by the way, see, we say when we're down here on Main Street, that's where we like to take the picture. When someone says to me, oh, where do you live? Oh, I live in Ayer. Oh, where is it? Show me, what is Ayer? Send me a picture of Ayer. Where would you take that picture?
go to
To
Google.
let
Of
someone
course,
know?
of course you would, right?
You'd go on Main Street, you'd show this great shot of those great buildings, the landmarks show, this is Ayer. We love being here. Why do we love being here with our bodies? Look how all those buildings
Mhm.
are all lined up to get tight together. We love spending time with our bodies here.
Mhm.
You go out here and what happens now? We have what I say, it's like a beautiful man or woman with their front teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a handsome, beautiful guy. But if you really get your teeth, yes. They've been knocked out and we have what's called the parking crater, the ever-growing parking crater. If we could only demolish another building downtown and build another parking lot, the downtown will come back and the economy will be good. No. Cut our throats over and over and over. We must start infilling this
Yes.
downtown with building. The form-based code is
Yes.
doing this. So there we are. Oh, I guess some of these shots are here. They just got rearranged. But there's your shot, going in. This is not traditional New England town. And anyone tells you it is, they grew up after World War II, 42. They actually think this is what America is, our
So
town.
Rhode Island's not in New England, right?
And by the way, Park Street never had a chance to be a New England traditional street. It never had a chance.
Right.
We're doing it now. It's hard for people to wrap their heads around, which is all of this that you see here, all of this was a massive railroad freight yard.
Right.
From 1848 to 1897. For 50 years, this was a massive railroad freight yard. And they dug all that up in 1896, 97. It stayed just a content, no one knew what to do with it. And then what happens? World War I breaks out. May of 1917, the US Department decides, we're gonna build a major military base out in Ayer. And they laid that street out, the Board of Aldermen, in 1917. Why? Because the base was coming and you had 50,000 soldiers coming here. And what did they make Park Street? What did they need then? Gas stations, believe it or not, in 1917. And it became Gas Station Alley. From 1917, right through. And anyone that grew up in this town, they'll tell you what was on Park Street. Right, Ruth? There were gas stations,
Mhm.
filling stations. It was never a downtown street, so no one ever saw it. This is no emotional thing. We wish we had, no one has ever known or seen it to live that way. We are doing this now. It's ready to become a wonderful downtown street to perform for our community. Now is our time.
I mean, what is that building to do without all that parking?
And here again, you see the plane of that building right there?
Yeah.
The right-of-way road goes up that far. That's our right-of-way, all the way up. Room for your sidewalk, on-street parking, and your lanes. And anyone tells you, it's too narrow, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't have the information, they're not hearing what we're saying.
Sure it's gonna slow down the people turning in for coffee.
Has anyone engineered the center line of that road and the full right of way and staked it or marked it on the ground? Instead of speculating, I'm talking about both sides,
Yes,
the 60 foot across.
Yes.
Do you know where it is?
It-
Can you tell me
we
where it
do-
is on the left-hand side?
On the,
On the,
it's hard for me right there, but we have
West
it
side.
because when Weston Sim did the engineering for the
parking
the
lot?
part, they did the whole,
Yeah,
it's all been measured. and
I'm
mapped
gonna
out,
guess,
so
I'm
it's-
gonna guess that the center line shifts west.
I think it is too.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what I
assuming it
think.
shifts west.
Just could put that hydrant in the
There
road.
we go. So we're going from what you saw, that zoning map,
Yeah.
and now it'll be subject to the regulating plan. Regulating plan is just another type of zoning map of the downtown, but now we key in our transect that we started with, T6. It simply is where we'll have the highest, most intense buildings. And what are we talking about doing? I know it's against some people, and I'm already hearing rumblings around town, say, trying to make downtown area like Boston. We hear you're putting a big skyscraper.
Make it the south end, that's acceptable.
So let's everyone calm down, and yes, I'm playing to the camera tonight, I'm having a good time, getting ready for town. Okay. What are we proposing for T6? The most intense of it. Currently, we're permitted to have 3-story buildings in this downtown. That's what we have now. Permit legal. All we're saying here in T6, around what? The rail station, where you gotta do residential development. We're saying 4 stories. Just one more story than what we have now. Everyone freaks and say, you see, you're trying to make this some big metropolitan city. 4 stories.
With all the air traffic we got, we're gonna have a problem.
Drama.
Right? Minimum of 3 stories though.
Has to be.
So if a developer's coming in here and saying, I want to do something around your rail station, we're saying that you have to do something of a scale to make it worthwhile. Okay, T5, you notice, so there's your core, like you drop that pebble in the center. The next ring out is your T5. That we're saying minimum 2 stories, maximum of 3. We have right now.
Yeah.
When we have our little T51, which gets into our little residential stuff, a little less intense. So there's a clear pattern that's designed for this one place and nowhere else. Yes, sir.
When the discussion came up at the beginning of the meeting, talking about the use table and dimensions, are we still allowed to talk about these categories that are in your layout here?
Yes.
The dimensions that are in this?
Yes.
I don't know
Wait
how
for
we
the
could,
tables
I don't know how
later.
we could,
Well, the
go
tables
ahead.
are pretty separate, that's a big separate discussion.
I understand
table
it's
is-
separate,
yeah.
but we're gonna have to refer to this. Ask the question, Kevin.
So we're in the,
Figure it out.
I just got one quickie here. And take a look at this. So where you go to the frontage build out and you've got this, it
Yes.
says 90% along front setback.
Correct.
Some places you have the use of the word max and mins, and other places you don't. Should this have a min next to it?
Yes, and actually, you know what? I have an amended one, and I think that is what my amended one. Yes, because I did catch that as well, Ken. Very good catch, by the way.
Let's play with the crowd.
He's our MVP.
Did you put a date on that revision, Alan?
Oh, where is it? I could have sworn it, because I remember I saw that.
Month
somewhere.
Does it include the day or just the month and year?
That's funny, because I remember seeing, Ken, because that should
Yeah,
You
say,
can't pick on him too much. We
Right.
need him. He's our
that should
MVP.
say a
Should say min.
minimum, a minimum 90%
Yeah.
build-up.
But it
That's
doesn't
that's
say.
fine. I could have sworn I
So
put that
we
minimum.
want to take a look at that in each of the examples.
Yes, thank you.
It'll end up in the minutes for the
Thank you.
meeting.
Very good.
Member Diskin has reminded Alan Leroy to
That's right.
fix the table.
That's it. Very good, but I did, geez, I could have sworn I caught that too.
Alan?
So,
You got it
yes.
one place.
Just a general observation, when you prepare for town meeting, one of the things that one of the reasons I'm very enthusiastic about this code is that it simultaneously does 2 things, not one. The obvious thing is that it improves the experience of our downtown and its value. But by doing that, it also helps us preserve what we like best about the more wooded, rural areas of our town.
Right, which
It
we're
does
desperately
both
trying to
things,
preserve
exactly.
Because of the development pressure that is upon us now.
If we, with a little bit lessening of that pressure, we get to enjoy the air that we love when we love to walk away from our homes and enter into the trails or enjoy what aspects of nature are available here, and there happen to be quite a few. So I think that it's really important that people understand that this is a double win. It's not just about improving the downtown. It's about improving the quality of life for generations to come of the overall town.
And that's, Jonathan, you just hit it on the head, why we start with the transect, so folks can understand what we're doing here in downtown, done properly, benefits, thank you, the entire development pattern of the town. Jonathan, you hit it on the head. As you know, I've said, I've been in this business a while. Developers, a lot of people, these developers, they just want to go out in our beautiful meadowlands, or they just want to build and ruin. No, they don't. All they want is to make money.
Right.
God bless them. God bless them. They just want to, they don't care where they build. They're going to build, show me somewhere where I get a return on my investment, where there's not, where it just doesn't delay me, hand me up, all sorts of complicated things. Show me where that is, I'll do it. Up to now, they said, go out, buy a big piece of land at that button. And now they know this isn't it. And that's why we're doing a form, to make it easier for them to say, you know what, I can make as much money doing a magnificent
Or more.
residential mixed-use building right in this downtown near the rail station than going out and taking another, 5 acres of land from our meadows or our ponds. And thank you, John, because what we've learned in America, what we really do love, we love traditional downtown, that place in space. We love our rural land spaces. What we don't like as Americans, and we learn, is the stuff in the middle, which is the auto-oriented strip stuff. It's like, but we've come to the place, but I need this in my life for some reason. It's like, no, you don't actually. It's really not good for anything or anyone. And we're finally learning this at this point in the history of our country. And here, this place, the land, it can be saved right now. We can do it and still be, which we are. We're a pro-growth community and always have been. This is a town of enterprise and industry, and has been right from the get-go. And that's what we're all about, but we have to channel and direct that instead of the development community saying, I already have my plans for your town, what I'm gonna do there. I have my plan. It's like, no. We have our plan, and we are inviting you to come, okay, and be part of our community culture if you want to do that. Now, if somebody say, well, I don't want to do that there, it's like, that's fine. We wish you luck on where else, you go to do it. But if you want to come and join us in what we're doing, come do it. You'll be very profitable, it'll be good, but we are not desperate. We don't need anyone to come in and just do anything here. Be a part of our plan.
Not only being the only, I believe, community in America with any Ayer, we might be the first community to have an aerial tramway that'll take us to the depths.
Oh, Transit X?
I have a
Did
comment.
you guys know about that?
Yep.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, that's
Alan was
not-
approached about a ski lift between here and there.
No, that's
How
a
does
joke,
that
right?
work?
Huh?
What's all? I thought that was-
Alan was approached, Mark was approached, Transit X.
We were all given the presentation on the pods, Transit X pods.
Yes,
Can't see
Mr.
that.
Diskin, I'm
I
sorry.
think we should rebuild the old ski jump.
I'm gonna follow up to Jonathan's comment,
Go ahead.
and I think it segues in, it may help you, Alan.
Yes.
Bear in mind that we passed, the last big zoning change we made was the open space residential, OSRD.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So in segue with what he said, we've already
Yeah.
taken step one,
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
right.
which was the OSRD.
And that's why, if you notice, we made the change of making sure we're saying that what we're doing with the form-based code supports
Complies with
master plan,
Exactly.
the open space recreation, and our complete streets, and the 10 principles of sustainable development.
Awesome.
So all of that is
This,
helpful.
this is what's,
Teaching people
well,
what's
it's making great, guys,
the
here it
direction
is.
we're
Yeah,
going.
and when we discuss with people who want to join the planning board, I think it's the hardest thing in the beginning for people to come to grips with is planning always changes.
Yep.
It is always it's not in flux, it's in motion
Right.
continuously.
Because we're a
It's
democracy.
responding to the pressures of the economy and the environment around it, so.
Okay.
And again, I won't go through all this, good, but the main point of this is code is laid out quite differently than conventional zoning. If you look at our conventional zoning, it's just text and paragraph. Form-based code is diagrammatic, visual, how we actually process things. Form, physical understanding of it, so the code just reads differently. We think it's just gonna be a cool thing for developers to look at. You can look at it as a developer outside and say, wow, I see exactly what you're doing here, and I can make a decision as a developer, yeah, I wanna be in that game there, or no. So it's laid out very nicely, prescriptively, good visual examples, was showing, so it's not, hey, you read our current zoning, lots of zoning stuff, and they have these wonderful phrases in it. Oh, if you're a developer, you're building a new building, yes. Well, the building shall be in character with the town, and you sit there as a developer and say, what
does
are
that
you
mean?
talking about?
Yeah.
What does that mean to me? Well, it should be in harmony with the character of our town. Now, I look at Park Street right now, and I say, great, you want me to be in harmony character with what's out there, you're saying? And we say, no. We want it to be in harmony and character with, well, what? What are you? And this is why developers will say, I don't know what you guys are talking about,
Yes.
all right? And they end up
Yep.
here, it's
That's
laid
why
out
we have
prescriptively up
that
front.
problem.
Right.
So development community can look at this and say, I see exactly the development these folks are doing, and I'm either in that game or I'm not. So the whole thing just, and again, laid out very clearly with the new, these are physical form parameters, meaning where the building will be placed on the lot relative to the street. its height, setback, so it's just all laid out very prescriptively, very cleanly and easily, so yes.
Could I,
Oops, go ahead,
Sorry.
you go, Jeff.
thinking about two things, okay, this is going to be part of the special town meeting, not the May meeting, but the June meeting.
Correct, June 10th.
I'm not sure if the powers would be would allow this, but what if these were sitting on, some of this was sitting on easel boards outside of the actual town meeting,
Yes.
in the lobby,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I was actually planning on
with a
doing
less than energetic person, or a more energetic person there?
Yes.
But seriously, it's,
I'm actually gonna do that in the town hall building over the next 2 months, and we're gonna put it out on everywhere I can. That's I could not agree with you more.
Even just, it's just,
Yeah.
as we made changes in zoning in Belmont years ago, and went to new schools years ago, it was very helpful for people to go to the bank, there'd be an easel there.
Thank
So
you,
by the
that's right.
time, it was actually at the cleaners around the corner from my house when I was very young. By the time the information was disseminated, and I know it's an old technology,
It's
not to use
effective.
digital, not to put it on the internet, but
Works.
thanks.
And I'll tell you, and I am concerned still with this. This is very new for people here, we're walking town, and you know,
Well, I'm glad you.
my heart will not be broken, although it would be if it didn't, so we gotta really, there's still a lot of work for me to do with engagement over the next 2 months to.
And I think it's also important, I remember when you first discussed this, you made it very clear that we're talking about form, not aesthetics. And the reason I want to raise this distinction is I don't want people to misunderstand, to think that we're designing a town like a college campus or a hospital campus where there's a consistency of aesthetics. You build with this kind of brick, it has to have this kind of, any kind of design. That's not what this is. Form means literally that.
Yeah.
Size, dimensions, etc. It's
Buildings
not
relate to this,
dictating
so that's
the
right.
aesthetic, so it's not about dictating to architects, developers, and other property owners about how things should look per se, but about how they're going to function in this area that's consistent with what our master plan is.
Largely in character. In a few years, everything will be vinyl on curvilinear roads with single material.
That's right, now, a lot of communities will do architectural standards with this, no, I don't think we need to,
Don't do it.
say, no, let architects
It's
do what they
unhealthy.
do. And well, it is just about the functional form, it gets to that issue of, oh, I have to do a minimum 2-story building, Mr. Nine, on Park Street? Yes, okay, I'm gonna put a building up, it's gonna look like it's 2 stories. It's a faux second story, there's nothing, it's fake windows.
Right, like that.
Well, there actually is a hall of it, it's just right. But this is being
But it
done.
has like that
Yeah.
extra
Yes, it
platformy
does.
thing, is that what you're talking about?
No, they actually
They have one right on
do
Main
faux
Street.
second stories. If you go into downtown Nashville, we built a Walgreens.
Okay, so
They did a
they-
fake second story. If you go into Winchendon, Little
Yep.
Center, they built a new Cumberland Farms with a
So
fake.
not just the wall, an actual
Correct,
enclosure.
and
of
why
the-
is that? This gets to the heart of,
Oh.
when we say with form-based codes, it's not how the street looks. Because what a lot of
How it
journalists
lives,
and
right.
people that follow guys like me do form-based code, they say, oh, they're doing this code because, so the place will have, this look, this great look about it. And I say, you completely missed what we do. It's not how the street looks, it's how the street lives and functions, meaning, I'll do a fake second story, and it'll look like, so that's fine. I'd say, no,
It's not a.
it has to be a second story because I don't want it to look like it. It needs to function as a second story. We need to have people living in that second story or conducting business in that second story. Because they have and this is what makes the economy choose. This isn't a movie set. I know we're
Yes.
getting good at movie sets,
Yes.
and this ain't no movie set. This is functional form, so thank you. It's not about this aesthetic or so it looks like it has to function and live like it. So, and even, we get into descriptives of the zones. If you go in our current zoning thing, Mark pointed out A1, A2. We don't even have descriptives. What is that? What is it? It's like, well, I don't know, you figure it out. Here, we actually give a full descriptive. This is what this is doing. So again, developers, everyone understands, okay.
Cool.
And again, all laid out, these are just all numeric parameters of how the buildings will be set. And the cool thing about all this is, when we do use-based Euclidean conventional zoning, you know how most of it's done in communities? It's copied from one community to the other. We know this as planners, we've all been doing this stuff. Well, I gotta do this new zoning thing in my town. Great, well, let's get 3 other towns, get theirs, just change the name of, whatever, Northport, whatever, and just change it to, and you tweak around them. You're copying the stuff. Form-based codes, every one is a one-off custom design for that one place.
Nice.
It's not an abstraction, it's about the form of this one and only one place, so it's a
Right,
custom
because
one-off thing.
you based all of this on how Ayer is actually shaped and functions.
Yes,
not
those
it-
actual
good, thank
streets,
you.
these actual, and the
Good.
code is laid out. So, we're feeling pretty good, but again, it's still, under legal review. We'll see, how that comes back and how many red lines I have that, we're reworking, but that's part of the process. And, we're feeling, generally good about this.
Definitely.
And, you folks have worked wonderfully
Very
with us.
exciting.
And again, as I've said, a lot of people that say, what is this thing? I don't know. I say, well, over the last 2 years, I have done public forums. I have done design charrettes. I have done visual preference surveys. I have done countless walks out on Park Street, on Saturdays, on Thursday nights. I have done videos posted on, but we're gonna do more over
Even
the next
more.
2 months.
So I'm going to assert myself as the chair of the board,
Yes, sir.
okay? We need to open the hearing on the dimensional table,
Yes.
okay? I also am creeping up towards a family commitment I have in about a half hour. So,
Are you looking for a motion to continue the public hearing?
if there,
on-
excuse me,
No,
excuse me,
it's open.
just, if it's okay. Do we have anybody in the, any more comments from the board on this topic?
We have,
You said for the board.
Hello.
Tonight,
Um,
I guess we did open.
Yes.
Jeff, you have a comment from the?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I read in the beginning, I read the thing, yes.
Sorry, Alan, wonderful work to see. I have a question. Park Street?
Yes.
Is that considered a state highway?
Oh, thank you, very important point, thank you. Yes.
I'm sorry, may I ask you to identify yourself, please?
I'm sorry, Anna Houston, and I'm actually on the planning board for Littleton.
Well, welcome, Ann.
Hey.
Who I hear are also considering doing a form-based
Oh.
code.
Yes, in
I-
fact, we do have a process that's getting started next month.
Yes?
The teach-in where we as planning board members will get to learn a lot about form-based code.
If I can be of any assistance, I've lectured all over New England, done it for many years. If I can be of any,
Thank you.
pro bono, of course.
Okay, so, to the question, please.
To the question, thank you. The stretch of Park Street we're talking about between, Main Street and down to Groton Street. So this section, it's a local road. Once you get north past Groton Street on Park Street, sort of where the Jiffy Lube is, that head now, it becomes a state highway. So thank you. So this is why we are able to do and introduce the on-street parking, which is the whole game. It really is. People don't understand. That on-street parking is what makes the whole development pattern work. Gotta have that on-street parking.
So for the newbies,
Yes.
the distinction is because the state road highway area would be controlled by the state and we wouldn't have the ability to discuss, talk about, or do things differently.
Correct.
Correct?
Especially
Just
with
filling in the
regard
actual
to
blank.
on-street parking
Okay,
and sidewalks. Right, they want
The
the
actual
state
road
highway to
is-
say.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
because it's a local road, we can't.
Thank you.
And this is the same thing, we're looking at West Main Street out by the Devon Shopping Plaza, down to do the same type of thing, local road, we can introduce on-street parking. Thank you. Okay.
Other questions? Excuse me, Mr. Pompion,
Mr. Chairman.
we're very fortunate that you were able to join us at this point in time. Alan has been telling us that, Alan mentioned earlier that upon town council's advice, we have a hearing right now about the form-based code. Town council, if I misquote, speak up. Town council has asked that we take this up as 2 hearings. We posted for 1. Their point is, the pros, if I can break it down this way, the pros of the new form-based code and the dimensional table being taken up as a second piece.
Dimensional use.
Can I actually put you back to work, Robert, and ask you if you have, is it a properly posted meeting at this point? Mr. Diskin was asking that a moment ago.
Good evening.
Hi, thank you for joining us, Robert.
Oh,
You
yeah,
should have gone right out the door.
Oh, yeah, this hearing was posted properly in the paper.
Yes.
and, Yeah,
Thank
get
you.
the public notice.
Okay.
Sorry, so Good evening,
Sorry to
Mr.
put you on the
Chairman,
spot,
members of the planning board. So, yes, so first, on the procedural issue for tonight.
Yes.
You have advertised and posted a public hearing on the proposed form-based code to replace the downtown business zoning district,
Yes.
which you've been talking about this evening. Our town council, and as Mr. Manoyan mentioned, this is under review. There are no substantive issues with, obviously, the substance of the form-based code. Town council's legal concern is that, in addition to this, we're obviously going to have to make some changes to the dimensional table.
Yes.
Erring on the side of caution and in full disclosure, where we will be changing the dimensional table, it would be prudent that proper public notice is given and that the planning board, conduct a hearing with respect to that.
Thank you.
This is something, Mr. Chairman, that until the legal review began, Mr. Manoy and myself, we anticipated, if you will, one public hearing, if you will. But I would recommend and appreciate the planning board's consideration that we properly, address both.
Okay, so to that end, there's some logistics involved. We have to post for the meeting. What is the postal time? The time to post for the meeting?
Hearing.
I'm sorry, post for the hearing.
Might
Thank
have
you
to
very much.
advertise for the hearing.
14 days.
14 days.
Mhm.
So,
Do we have to advertise for the hearing?
if we're.
Do we have to advertise for a separate hearing with that
for the
Yes.
dimensional
topic
table? Okay,
discussed in the advertisement?
Yeah.
so, I think you've answered my question.
Okay.
I believe we do have time between now and town meeting. I'm now in special town meeting.
Yes.
To post a second
Yes.
hearing.
Yes.
So if it's
Right.
okay with you, Mr. Archambault, and the rest of the board, I think we should do is, we don't have time before the 23rd. At
That's
this
the
point.
first meeting.
So let's pick up the first May and the second May meeting and post it for that. Would that work for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because
And
I had suggested we'll just pick it up now, but that doesn't.
yeah,
As Julie refers to Ken as our MVP picked up on. So,
Mr. Diskin, if I may.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, and I'm glad I caught this part of the meeting. I appreciate the accommodation for another hearing, but that way everything is covered. It also gives an opportunity to further the discussion, but that way all of the merits of the proposed form-based code have been discussed publicly and posted, and any changes to the dimensional, because as you know, Mr. Chairman, the devil is always in the details, and
People finally look at the table and say, how does this impact me?
right, especially
And I want that to
developers.
happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Thank you, and I apologize for dragging you
No,
into the
no,
meeting.
I'm here,
Thank
so-
you very much.
Yep. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. So it sounds to me like if you are at the conclusion of your piece,
Yes, sir.
it'd probably be appropriate at this point to accept a motion to continue this public hearing on form-based code until the meeting on the 23rd. And we will properly post for the dimensional table regulations change, which will start, I don't know offhand, is it May 9th?
May 14th.
May, whatever the date, May 14th? So we'll
That's our
post for the
first
first May meeting for the dimensional
Yes.
table piece, and it'll go 14th and 28th of May. 28th of May is gonna be stretching for me, but that's okay.
It's my birthday.
Mine's the 29th.
I make a,
Go ahead, please.
I make a motion to continue the public hearing for the consideration of the proposed form-based code through to our next air planning board meeting, which would be April 23rd.
Third. Yep. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks a
Mr.
lot,
Chairman,
Alan.
Thank you all so
Thank
very
you.
much. You
This
guys
is
have been
fabulous.
so
Thanks.
helpful partners.
I can't wait.
Yes, that was for you.
That was great. We'll discuss after.
Every time you ring that, I salivate. I don't know what's going on.
You took that class too, huh?
Pavlov.
Next on our
Pavlov.
agenda, please. I'm gonna rein us in because I do
Sure,
have
of course, go
I have
ahead.
to get a hold of a family member before 8:30.
Go for it, go for it.
Town planner update, Mr. Archambault.
Yes, I have something to circulate here,
Oh,
which, you could pass that around.
Is this what we spoke about earlier today?
Yes,
The citizens
the
petition?
citizen petition.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
thank you, sir.
Mr. Kevin Horgan of 16 Madigan Lane has submitted a properly submitted to the town clerk citizen petition with the required number of signatures for a change to the solar energy setbacks. What he's requesting is that where a large-scale solar energy facility abuts a residential district, that all structures, such as the foundation of the solar panels, be set back 150 feet from the district boundary line. Town council, we received this yesterday. You see the date at the top. Town clerk stamped it April 8th. I notified town council that we received this today, and she will be getting back to me about the proper way for the planning board to handle this.
If my understanding is correct, Mr. Horgan is asking for the planning board's support in the town meeting for his citizen's petition. And I don't want to discuss the merits of the planning board doing that right now until Mr. Archambault has an opportunity to hear back from town council.
That sounds appropriate.
Okay.
Thank you.
That is separate from individuals supporting or not. We have residents and also members of the planning board. Okay,
Yep.
that's it for that for now?
Yes.
There.
Yes,
Excuse me,
I will
so
have,
we've completed this topic for now.
yes,
Shouldn't
I will
say
have
that's-
much more information at the next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
do you have anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Well, I had jotted that down under new business, so.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else have any new business, any new business that we should take up?
Yeah, I have something, but I want.
Okay,
Oh,
You sure I should bring this map thing up now? We talked about it separately. I got a telephone call, so I do have a business.
that.
Yep,
yeah.
okay.
I was confused with the form-based code.
Okay, so
Oh, right.
I got a telephone call from a citizen who had a question regarding the legality of the existing zoning map, the map that we currently have and the
Mhm.
map that we're showing.
yep,
It turns out that any zoning bylaw needs to consist of a current zoning map that's been approved at a town meeting.
yeah.
There was a discussion about whether that had been done in the past and
Mhm.
the history of that.
Mhm.
And it turns out that when we, in fact, voted on new zoning regulations in, March 19th, and then amended them October 22nd of 18, there was a section 4.3 stating the zoning map.
Mhm.
And it says that the location and boundaries of the zoning districts are hereby established as shown on the map entitled the zoning map of the town of Ayer, Massachusetts, and dated February of 2018, bearing the signatures of the members of the planning board and being on file in the office of the town clerk.
Mhm.
Which map, as amended with all explanatory matter thereon, is hereby made part of this bylaw.
Mhm.
So in fact, the language of the bylaw that we changed is consistent with what's required to
Mhm.
recognize that map as being the current map.
Mhm.
However, there's potential lack of signature on said map, so I'm proposing that.
I find it interesting because I have been on the planning board not long, but for long enough to have signed a new map.
Okay,
But I don't believe we signed, am I missing?
right.
Yeah.
The new map, we were neglected to sign the new map.
Yeah, so.
However,
Mhm.
there's a follow-up to this.
Yep.
So since we're in the process of amending the form-based code district,
Yep.
and since any amendment to said map requires a new map and a new signature,
Mhm.
I'm just simply proposing that we wait till after the June town meeting,
Mhm.
get that map with the new form-based code district on it,
Mhm.
updated, and then sign it at that point in time.
So this
And it'll all tie
presupposes,
together.
this presupposes the acceptance of the new form-based code. Or I should put it this way,
If
this
we-
allows us to draw the map as current as possible,
Yeah.
should the form-based code be
Yeah.
accepted by the popular, by
Exactly.
Yes.
the voters of Ayer.
Right.
Thank you.
So I just, it's an idea.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
So
Yes.
if we don't feel we
Good
want to do
idea.
that, we could, well, I think in the meantime, we should probably, if you were to go to the town clerk's office and ask for the map right now, you would be given an 8.5 by 11-inch map, which I
Yes.
find unacceptable. So at a minimum, I think we should request that the town planner produce a pretty good size and foldable map
Yeah,
that
Um,
we
the
placed.
standard 24 by 36.
Is it
Let me,
24 by
yeah,
36?
let me ask, do we have, the capabilities to print in-house anything larger than 8.5 by 11?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
We have
yes.
plot printers?
Cindy has a large plotter.
Okay,
for
right.
DPW as well.
I'm just
And
asking
they have
because,
one too.
I was actually sent a 36 by 54 today, 30 by 50,
Oh.
whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, I sent it to you on your phone. I'm like, I actually printed it out in its large format.
Oh.
I still had to get a magnifying glass out. And it's a single property in an industrial zone. And it's the approximate boundaries, and everything I'm worried about is outside the approximate, but anyway. Practical use, Ken, is really important. It is not a practice, is my understanding, and again, Mark can check this with town council. We are not yet in a world of practice where we have official electronic documents. One of the greatest things in the world about having that map drawn and digitized, it's going to be CAD driven or something. It's going to be drawn well digitally. We can make that available to people, but it has to be marked not official. We can also let them come get an official printed copy of it, which is typically how the map works. You're saying they get a Xerox copy of it now, and that's what's been working. I like what you're saying.
It's a
But
code requirement, is
Would
what
you,
I'm getting at.
yeah, but would you please, Mark, check with KMP to
Yes.
see if,
I got it right here. You don't have to check, I can read it.
as,
Mass.gov.
is it working now?
Frequently,
Do they allow it?
no. I'm gonna speak to here's the question from Mass.gov, frequently asked questions about municipal law. When is it necessary to submit a zoning map to the Attorney General's office for approval? The answer is the zoning map or relevant portion thereof must be submitted to our office for review and approval whenever there are changes to district boundaries, either through the creation of a new district, including an overlay district, or changes to the boundaries of an existing district, Mass General Law 48 section, whatever it is. It requires all district boundaries must be shown on a zoning map. Section 4 provides that the zoning map is part of the town's bylaws, which we have
Yes.
covered,
Yes.
which is good. Since
Yes.
the zoning map showing district boundaries lines is part of the zoning bylaws of the town, any change in the map must be accomplished by town meeting via a zoning bylaw amendment,
Yes.
which we did.
Yeah,
And there's a second part to this.
yeah,
The important part is that I've given this to Alan and to Mark. They're going to have some language in his overlay, his district change to amend the map simultaneously. So somewhere in his language, he needs to include, and we'll talk about that at the next meeting
Yeah.
maybe, but
No,
that map
and-
needs to be amended with the language of the change to the zoning district. And then we all sign it,
yeah,
done.
and I appreciate that. What I was actually, I had started here in a different direction, and that is accessibility to the zoning map. One of the most frustrating things, and I was a wee lad the first time I dealt with a zoning map.
Yeah.
Okay, was that the only official copy you can ever use is the one you can get at town hall.
Exactly.
As soon as they charge you 25 cents and Xerox it, it's not an official copy. And that is a point of law. So accessibility to the data, or it was then, accessibility to the data is something that we want to be able to do for people, developers and everybody. I mean, why not?
Yeah, we want a
So-
good, clean map
yeah.
with signatures and the date.
So I received today a PDF document of a signed series of basically maps that are accepted in a zoning for another town, another community, but they're not official. So just making it convenient to people so that Mark can say, do you have an email address? I got a 2 meg PDF file. Use this. Do your work. Before you decide, come into town and look at our map,
Yeah.
which is ultimately what has to happen. We have to have a single source of data
Right.
that everyone goes from. It's like surveying. You ever wonder why they start at the other end of the road when they're going to survey your property? They have to go to a known good spot, and that's really what it comes down to. So I appreciate what you're saying. I like the strategy of seeing if we get the form-based code, because it's a lot of work to do this. I would hope that we would, and I'm going to open a can of worms here, some of our zoning districts bisect plots as opposed to running along lot lines and down the centers of streets. As a matter of, and Mark, you can correct me on this anytime you want, kick in. But right now, if you were on the north, I'll call it the north side of Central Ave, for all intents and purposes, and you wanted to do something along that road, like the hole in the ground up there that's going to be 7 attached condos. Okay, they're going to fit with the form-based code in the wrong area. I mean, it should never be completed. When they came to the planning board, the discussion was, It's a commercial zone on the front, it's a residential on the back. And they actually asked to change the use of that lot to residential. If I remember correctly, there was a discussion how they use it, because they have frontage on both sides. And I forget exactly how it happened, but we may have ended up with some sort of spot zoning at that point.
Yeah.
But when the line of the zoning map goes between you and your chicken coop in the backyard, it can be a hassle. Put it on the back lot line or the front lot line. And I don't know what that's going to
Right.
do
The-
to drawing the lot
Yeah.
map.
The bylaw does address what happens if your lot is split by a district boundary.
Yeah.
But I agree, when I first took this job and I looked at the zoning map and I said,
That's what
all
I
these,
told you before you took the job, Mark.
there are all these little areas that are, you know, here's a GB area that's totally isolated from
Yeah.
other areas. And
Yeah.
yes, eventually, we're gonna have to take a comprehensive look at that zoning map and make it more rational.
Yeah.
But that will be a huge task.
It
which,
it
you know,
is a larger task. I would argue that right now, no one's licking their chops on developing the land that actually sits in that transitional
Right.
area,
Yes.
if you will.
Yes, it's,
Okay, so,
But
it
you're-
can be confusing though, and it can be used to the
Right.
advantage of a homeowner, should
Yeah.
something economically change, we can't
Yeah.
currently predict.
And the present map that goes with the bylaw that was adopted in March of 2018, the reference to the map change was included in the warrant article language, and
Yeah.
yes, it just wasn't, as Ken mentioned, signed.
I
So
think
that's-
we're probably the victims of our own success once again. We've been able to march forward and codify things that the town's worked on for many, many years, and we're gonna find things that are outliers, similar to the ground mounted solar we did last week.
Mhm.
No harm, no foul, no one did anything wrong, we'll pick them up as we need to.
Yeah.
For the same reason, I don't think you've been in the room, we've had to release land that was from, well, on the other side of Oak Ridge Drive, Calvin Street.
Oh, right, yep.
Yeah, there was Mark can explain it at some point. There was an improperly released covenant from 1980,
Yeah, it was a ways back.
ways back, so we actually had the attorneys go look at it, we actually did the process, so that people could convey the land they've been living on. Ruth may be able to remember this better than I, but there was not a clean title, because the covenant had never been released, because the covenant was never requested to be released. And the town doesn't watch covenants to be released. It is the proponent who comes to the town and says, I'm ready for the release of the covenant, I have acted upon all these things. And something happened along the way, and so we actually did the legal work in 2017 or 2018 for something that was done in the 80s. This is my favorite Sunday morning person used to say, and so ended the lesson. We're gonna remain, I'm gonna keep board I actually read the agenda and I saw board reorganization on it, and I couldn't remember why for a moment there. Unfortunately, we are still missing, our fifth member, Sue Kennedy. I would hope that Sue would, choose to join us again, and, there has been no progress at all that I'm aware of in replacing the member. With that said, thank you guys very much for reaching out to new members. I actually, associate members,
Yeah.
I have not seen Ms. Melody for the last 2 weeks because my schedule has changed and I don't run into her anymore. I'm not sure she got the word about tonight's meeting.
oh, shoot skis.
Oh, but she's still interested.
She's
Oh,
very
definitely.
interested.
Yes.
Yeah.
She probably just
So
doesn't, simply
we-
didn't know.
We just have to set up
Yeah.
the joint meeting with the selectmen to appoint her. as a-
Exactly, but she may
Right.
not have been aware of this evening's meeting because the unofficial conduit
Oh.
is, I would see her 6 days a
Oh,
week.
oh, okay, yep.
And it didn't occur to me with my change in occupation
Yes.
and schedule, so.
We just covered
Um,
everything we covered
I'm
last time
gonna
she was
knight
here,
you if
so
I may.
I remember.
Jonathan.
For the
This
next
is a
meeting?
win.
Yeah, you see her more frequently than I do.
I can also just shoot her an email.
Yeah, I can send her a text, but, if, through no fault of her own, I think she didn't find out. Okay?
But yeah, I'll look into trying to move that along so we get her
Okay.
as an associate.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
do that.
I kept looking, that's what I was looking for, to see,
I'm still gonna request that my person come and watch and
Please.
see,
Yeah,
so
that's
that way
great.
we're
Sure.
still,
Sure.
please.
you never
Yeah,
know.
that'd be great.
We're doing some interesting stuff. So this is fun planning. Sometimes talking to people about the use of the land and that's not so much fun. This to me is a rewarding side of it. So, any other comments from anybody?
I do, I just have a
Yes.
request, and either to you or any of us, but, if there are town meetings or other things that it's just assumed, but we're actually specifically as a planning board supposed to be at, if we could just acknowledge that. I've been ridiculed by my
Yeah.
friends for getting babysitters just so we can both be at town meeting, however, I can't always pull that off,
Yeah.
so,
Sure.
I need to know very clearly what my expectations as a
Yeah.
planning board member is and which ones.
That's actually a really good question.
It's a good question, no one
So,
followed up on it.
In my last life,
Yeah.
I was in the finance, the FinCom, what's called the warrant committee the
Yeah.
last time. And not only was your presence expected, it was never requested, you were supposed to sit in a specific spot, in a specific space.
Well, that needs to be made clear to the board.
Well, not every town meeting that we attend will have zoning or planning board related articles on it, number one. Number two, if there is an issue before the planning board that is not an acknowledged planning board request or a zoning request or something like that, we sometimes run the risk of changing the direction of the train as it's going down the tracks, because we are recognized as being members of planning. When we had there was a meeting 10 days ago with a proponent for a new style for a hip development, a local initiative project here in town, and I attended, and we spoke about it at the last meeting. I did not attend as the chairman of the planning board. I was identified by somebody in the room as the chairman of the planning board, but that's not why I was here.
Right?
Unfortunately, there were, so
Huh.
we will tell you straight up. On the June meeting, we will be there as the planning board. We'll probably sit on the stage. We need a quorum. We don't need everybody.
Well, you're saying that, but I wasn't told that until I just asked, so I'm just
I
making
know.
it very clear
No,
that
that's-
that was not
that's-
clear to me,
Yeah.
and I need
Do we have to
know.
wear our formal robes for that?
Actually,
There's a pinning
how
ceremony,
big
isn't
is
there?
de rigueur these days? No, but seriously, we need a quorum.
No.
And with 4 members now, a quorum's typically easy to get at a town meeting.
Alright.
And that's basically how it works. You're not truly expected to be there. Things happen.
No, I don't mind
Yeah.
being there, you said a lot of words there, I'm sorry,
Sorry.
maybe it's because I'm sick.
I can clarify.
Is it clear that I am expected as a planning board member to be at all town meetings?
No.
And
Sorry,
maybe-
go ahead.
The only adjustment that I would make to that is that my expectation from my experience in the past has been if the planning board is a sponsor
Of
of
an
a
warrant
zoning
article,
change,
yes.
okay, it's a
Got it.
special town meeting and it
Forgot
only
to say that.
involves
Right.
that kind of work,
Yes.
the planning board would have an expectation to be present and sponsor and potentially answer questions
Yes.
about that particular issue, as we had to do in October of last year.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we went up on the stage, 3 of us were in attendance at that meeting,
Susan,
myself, Sue
myself,
Kennedy,
Mhm.
and
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I was there.
yourself.
Yep.
And questions came up
Mhm.
through the moderator and through the planner, and sometimes directly to us.
Yeah.
So the way I see it from history is if a board, whatever the board might be, is involved deeply in the issue of that particular town meeting,
Yes.
then that board would be expected to be present and ready to answer or ready to understand the
Yeah.
questions. If they're not, on the other side, you're just a citizen.
Exactly.
You go to
You're
the
a
meeting,
citizen.
you don't.
My prior board hadn't needed that, so,
Yeah.
or my other, I'm still on it, my
Yeah.
other board doesn't.
Yeah, well,
ask
the
Okay.
questions
Yeah.
are very apt to come up
No,
for
it's a really good
the
question.
same, that board too, at town meeting, the same way.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Mhm. Go ahead.
we have one on June 10th, do we have anything in the May 13th or whatever the
No,
other date is?
no zoning for that week.
No.
I haven't
I-
seen.
it's
I haven't seen.
Yeah,
possible-
and most likely we'll still be there, I just
The-
wanna
the-
clarify
The
my
citizen
sense of
petition,
urgency.
we haven't received an opinion on this, how we're gonna handle
Yeah.
the citizen petition, but potentially that may
Right.
go to the Maytown meeting, I'm not sure.
Sure,
I would
Uh,
actually imagine it would go to the Maytown meeting if it was acceptable in its form to the town council. I imagine it would go to the Maytown.
Yeah,
meeting after
well,
this
but there
special.
might be, without getting her opinion,
Yeah.
KP's opinion on the process, I can't say for sure if it's gonna be the Maytown meeting or what.
We say KP, Copeland and Page is the name of their.
I
Yeah,
caught on what
right.
you said.
Okay, yeah.
John.
So, Yeah, and I'm sorry I answered your question in a long roundabout way. If we're
That's all right.
if there's a and in 100% full disclosure, we may not do something unanimously at this table because we may feel strongly that it's the
Right.
wrong
You have a
thing.
question about that.
Right?
2 years ago, I questioned the finance committee on how they felt on something, and I asked how the vote went in the meeting because they went 2-1.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know who the proponent was and who was, and I got a very unsatisfactory answer from the chair.
Okay.
He said,
I had to remember
he said, we voted, that's it. So, it's a public, transparent process.
Yeah.
If you feel it was important the way they presented their information. If you have a dissenting vote, it is as valuable as an assenting vote.
Right.
And you should
the
feel,
form.
and if you
I'm
feel,
missing the point again.
so the
I
point is,
agree.
so
I
we
can't
go,
say
we go,
nay
three,
when I
we
want
have a
to.
vote, 3-2.
Here in this meeting or at
Yes.
town hall?
We
Oh,
have a vote,
okay.
3-2 on an issue here in
Yeah.
this meeting, okay?
Right.
So, 3-2 is a sponsored motion by the planning board. Now, I may feel very strongly and have voted against it in this meeting.
Yes.
I lost.
Okay.
Right.
I
Right.
can then, as a citizen,
Yeah.
stand up and speak my piece,
On that one.
not from
thing.
the stage as a member of the planning board. I will have to walk down and go through the mental theatrics of, I'm speaking as an individual town member. Yep.
Hold up. On the issue that is being brought to town meeting, the article that is
Yes.
being brought to town meeting, you are allowed to speak. You are not saying that some other willy-nilly thing we're talking about here and we vote on here, like a site plan review, that you're gonna go and talk about that at town meeting.
Just the
No.
article.
You're
Just
talking
the
about the
article.
article.
Yeah, the article, right.
Alright.
But I'll give you a perfect example. We may do this again.
Yeah.
Last year, we had a special planning board meeting
Right.
just a few days before the zoning bylaw change was to take place, to review our thoughts,
Okay,
just at the last minute. We may
Yeah.
do that again,
Right.
you know, to just talk about, and something
Information
came up
had
at
come
that
forward.
meeting, at the
Yeah.
very last minute,
Yeah.
something came up at that meeting.
yeah,
An amendment was proposed,
yeah,
and the board voted on the amendment, and Mr. Diskin voted no.
right,
And the other members voted yes. And someone, I have no idea why,
Yeah.
someone stood up at town meeting and asked if the planning board voted unanimously on the issue at hand, whatever
Yeah.
the issue might have been. And I'd say no.
right,
And then they asked why. So, yes, the votes we take here and the
Yeah.
discussion we have here may or may not be unanimous, but you're very apt to have an active member of the audience at the town meeting
yeah,
who's concerned if a planning board member voted no. And
okay,
they could ask
yep.
about that, and you may have to respond to
Alright.
that.
Yeah.
So, that's
On
just,
the articles we
On the
brought,
articles.
On
not
the-
on
yes.
general
no,
town
no,
law.
just what the discussion of that night is. That-
Yes.
that
I'm
particular
sorry.
town meeting. So
Okay.
there's many things that we may not vote unanimously on.
Right,
But typically,
we're
there
gonna
are,
disagree well, I can tell.
there are people that are typically interested in how a board
Yeah.
might have voted.
Exactly,
And there may be someone who just asked that question routinely,
right,
and then some rebuttal may be necessary or
Yeah.
whatever.
Alright.
But a preparation is kind of important for,
Exactly.
it'll be driven, the presentations are gonna be driven by Alan and by Mark.
yeah,
But there still have to be people in the audience who would ask, does the planning board have
Okay.
any other thoughts on
Cool.
something like that? I think that's,
We typically do less contentious things than budget articles,
Yeah.
but we create
Yeah.
laws
Right.
and bylaws.
Right.
So
That's
we may not,
Okay.
Get a first speak.
and as we discussed, it's perfectly fine not to agree. It's nice to come up with something that works well for the community and works well for every one of us who have a very different sight on what the community should be doing. No, seriously.
our
Yeah.
opinion in this room could vary dramatically from someone's opinion outside the room.
Exactly. And so,
Okay.
and you know, good, there you go.
Alright. Thank you,
Thank
Paul.
Very good.
Thank you.
No, that's great. I'm sorry. I've been doing this for a long time and I went too close. With that being said, I think we have reached the adjourn section of our agenda for the evening.
Yes.
I will, in the tradition of Ayer, accept a motion for adjournment.
I motion that we adjourn the April 9th meeting of the Air Planning Board.
It's been moved. All in favor?
No,
Oh, I have to
second.
second it, Ken
Second.
seconded it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.